1. We now have audio. Hello, guys.
What's up,
getting
Audio.
Getting stuff worked out here on YouTube's.
Got some audio in the chat. Hey, everyone. It's time for Disc Golf Answer Man. See? Nailed it.
That was pretty cool.
Nailed it. Angela says Innova is better. Thank you for your input, Angela.
Better at what, though? I mean, that's very broad.
Hey, man, I'm on our podcast right now. I'll call you a little bit later. Okay, bye. That one actually wasn't Eric Oakley this time.
Who was it?
My little brother.
Little bro.
My bruh. My little bruh.
And yeah, Innova is better at their podcast. Oh, they don't have a podcast.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Dang.
boom, roasted.
Just kidding.
No, you're not.
Yeah, Eric.
Props
Jordan
to
played very
Steve-O
well
on the
at
Wild Hair
Beaver
Classic
State.
this past weekend. Steve-O, he played?
No, he ran the event.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Wild Hair is one of my favorite ones, man.
Eric was impressed with Jordan Castro's play at Beaver State Flingy.
Same.
My
Killed
pup
it.
Chuck is going to be good. My pup Chuck?
Yeah, he Joe posted it. He
Oh,
was
yeah,
worried
that's
about his
right.
dog, so he said he's going to be good.
Good. Eric is fearless putting. Thumbs up, Robert and Risley. Yes.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks. Here for Taco Truck Answer Man. Respect.
Here for Taco Truck Answer Man. Nice. Innova is better at being less than DD. Oh, now we're all in this together, guys. We're in this disc golf thing together, so we're not gonna become the biggest building in the city by tearing down other buildings. We're just gonna build a better building.
The big what in the city?
Building.
I don't think you said that.
What did I say?
I don't know, but
Building?
it wasn't that.
I said building in the city.
Maybe.
We will play it back.
Clip it, somebody. Somebody clip it.
Get a clip. Do a replay.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and say I like the added decorations that we have in the room. Got some
Yes.
new stuff.
This has been up since March.
Yep.
I'm kidding.
No, we got some new stuff behind.
I gotta
me.
hang this. They can't see it though. It's
Yeah.
a Disc Golf Answer Man poster.
Pretty sweet.
Oh,
Nick says
Where,
I bought
though?
3 Emacs today.
I don't know.
Sick.
Yeah.
God, Nick, H by 4.
I recently put a couple of new Emacs in my bag, and I'm feeling them. They're doing quite well for me.
I have I don't know if it was just because I only took a couple discs on my trip, but I had the B Dynamic EMAC in the bag, and oh my gosh, I'm falling even more in love with that disc.
Yeah,
It's just so
pretty
good. So good.
Someone shouted, "I hope you enjoyed the good luck Malachi." I yelled after you made your comeback. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't. I just
that's
typed it.
hilarious.
That stinks. That's funny because I didn't really make very many putts, so you'd think I would remember one of the ones
The
I
ones you
made.
made. Hey, how's the audio sound, YouTube?
Struggle.
Bobby, your glasses are awesome. Yes, these are my ice glasses.
Lucid X.
Yes, they're very stable. When I take them off, I always have to go to the left to pick them up. So, just real quick, I think we're ready to go, but we can do a little more fodder.
Fodder.
Just make up words.
I can't.
I know what fodder is.
It's a word.
It's a word. It's dadgummit. It's like
Hello,
leftover
motto?
material or waste material or
I thought cannon fodder was like fuel, like what you use to shoot out of a cannon. I'll search.
Look it up.
Okay. This says food, especially dried hay or feed.
Fodder?
Yeah. FODDER for cattle and other livestock. To give fodder to.
What's the word for like it had to do with engines or it had to do with airplane engines or something?
I don't know.
Mechanical issues is what they told me on the plane.
Yeah, once we start the podcast, you have to tell us about your adventures.
Leslie, I typed in your symptoms into WebMD and it said you might have network connectivity issues. Dude, one of the best ad libs ever.
Oh, that was an ad lib?
Yes.
That's
Dude just made that up off the top.
that's Chris Pratt, and he posted a picture on Father's Day, a picture of his dad on his Instagram, and he said, "To the funniest man I ever know," or something like that. I'm like, I can't imagine what his dad was like. If he's Chris Pratt the way he is, his dad must have been a jokester for sure. So yeah, we've got Torchy's Tacos in our future.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to be headed to Colorado for the disc golf experience at Bronco Stadium at Mile High. Is that the official way to say it?
Sure.
Well, it's actually just Mile High Stadium, I thought.
It is Mile High Stadium.
Look it up.
It is definitely Mile High Stadium.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's Bronco Stadium at Mile High or
it's not Bronco Stadium. It's
Bronco's
Mile
not
High
anywhere.
Stadium.
Doug put it wrong on Disc Golf.
Well, but I think there's something to
It's right there.
Oh yeah, and that's where I've seen it too.
right. Yeah,
I don't
this says Bronco Stadium at Mile High, which they must have
They
switched.
could have changed the name, I suppose.
Yeah,
but
for the longest time it was Mile
it
High.
was just Mile High Stadium.
And Mile High is the area that the name of the area.
No, it's the physical elevation.
The elevation is a mile high.
Oh,
Yeah.
Of the stadium or the town we're in?
Denver.
Denver.
Yeah, due to the city's elevation of 5,280
Right,
feet.
but do they call that area that, you know how they call places like the tri-state area or something like that?
Oh,
Is
sure.
it the Mile High area type?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think it's
okay.
just kind of
I
like
think it's just a stadium.
yeah.
Gotcha. Who else left at Rusco in his 2 Raider Nation slips on yesterday's update? Yes, TJ. It's not a huge deal, but we had talked about using Raider Nation. When we talk about Raiders, we're like, I think that's trademarking. Some people were like, no, that's just, you can't trade. We looked it up. Sure enough, Oakland Raiders own Raider Nation. They
Plus, who wants
trademark
to be a
it.
part of that?
Yeah. All right, let's get started.
Let's. Howard Disc Golf said, still 1,000 rated, Robert? First of all, hateful. Okay, this was a tough weekend.
Ouch.
But
We'll get into that
okay,
for the show.
that's fine.
Gotta save it for the show.
You got to save some things.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Disc Golf Ranchman. Did that wrong again.
You're bad at this.
First time.
Let's roll it back.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Ranchman. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. I have with me Eric, the frequent flyer, McCabe.
Yes,
Dang, a
I
world
am the
traveler.
frequent flyer. Well, yeah, world traveler, but more U.S. traveler in the last couple weeks.
And I hate to say it, but Robert,
Yeah,
Mach 3.
yeah, struggle.
McCall.
Oh.
Super struggle.
Was it the Mach 3s?
Yo, yeah. Now
I'm not gonna.
I-
I'll move on.
we can talk.
I'll move on. I'm sorry.
We can talk about it in a minute. Yeah.
So Eric McCabe
What's
is
up?
back. He was gone for 2 episodes in a row doing some traveling. We couldn't say anything because we weren't sure what we could say about
I
where
tuned
you were
into
going.
one of the episodes.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
we
I
weren't
think it
sure
was
what
the
we could
last
say, but kind of give us. Can you tell us?
I'll
where
tell
you're
you
at?
exactly where I was.
Okay, so Eric, tell us about your course
Well,
course
first
sales
off-
at DynamicDisc.com Adventures.
Well, first off, I started off in Emporia, Kansas. I woke up,
Okay.
got a notification on my phone that my
that's right.
flight was canceled.
Oh, that's going to be a
And
rip.
I'm like, well, my flight leaves tomorrow morning, so this is bad. And I needed to be there at a certain time. The flight was canceled because, of course, as a lot of you know, a couple weeks ago we were having some pretty severe weather roll through town, and it was just kind of miserable, actually. But so I called the airline and asked, what can we do to get me there quicker or sooner or as soon as possible, and they had said that the next possible chance I could get to my destination is the weekend. That wasn't going to work for me because I
cool.
needed to be there pretty much as soon as possible because I already had a schedule laid out as far as, flying into New York, going to do that design, and I was going to fly up to Maine and do that design and then fly down to Massachusetts and kind of work on that course and then fly home. That kind of threw a wrench in things.
Yes.
So I ended up driving to New York and keeping my other flights, which was, kind of a pain in the butt, but not too bad. I mean, got to break in the new truck a little bit and drive it up
might as
there.
well.
So it was fun. So I went to Binghamton, New York first. Designed a course down at Nathaniel Cole Park. It is going to be more of a championship level layout. It's going to have 2 tees and 2 pin positions on every single hole. Beautiful course. It's going to be a great mix of holes. Some tight woods, some more open par 4, par 5 style of golf. Really just a beautiful, beautiful park down in southern New York. It's not too far from the Pennsylvania state line. So that was the first stop, and then I went to Maine next, and I was a Raiders throw from Canada. Honestly, if you look it up on the map. Littleton, Maine is where I was. Kevin Rogers, good dude, had me come out. It's his private land he had purchased a year ago.
Sick.
Trying to work out some logistics on everything, and I got up there and spent the week with him designing the course, and what a beautiful piece of property. I mean, it's an older piece of property that used to be logged. I think he had said it was logged probably 40, 50 years ago. There's a bunch of big mature trees on the property, but there's a lot of logging trails. You know what that is? Where they cut gaps, basically roads through the middle of woods for the trucks to go through and pile the timber up on and get out. So there was a couple of those that were kind of overgrown, but you can kind of see natural fairways through. Kind of utilize some of that, and it's just going to be a beautiful property. It's way out there, but it is awesome. Probably one of my favorite ones I've done in recent history. It's just beautiful. We set up. Funny thing is, we set up trail cams. Yeah. When I was there, he did a little bit before, but we also set them up when I was there just to kind of see what kind of wildlife was out there. Because I mean, it was in the boonies almost. You know, I mean, it's nature at its finest. And first thing we saw was a moose. Big old moose, and its baby walking right down the road, which is kind of cool. And then we saw a bobcat, which is kind of cool, but also kind of like
scary.
I should leave.
Yeah, it's a bobcat. I mean, that's a big kitty.
Hey, what is that? Bobcat.
Then a bear.
What?
A black bear, big old black bear, and he within 40 minutes of setting up the trail cam, he was running down he was there. He saw him setting up that trail cam. And within 40 minutes of him setting it up, viewing the tape, he was running. He was running away because he saw him, you know. And black bear, they're pretty friendly. Not friendly, but they're kind of scared of you. Remember at Pocono, we saw that big black bear in the parking lot? We're all like staring at it like, those guys must be from Kansas. But yeah, they say they're as scared of you as you are of them, or more so, whatever. Which I don't believe, because if I run into a black bear in the middle of nowhere, I'm pretty freaking scared, especially if he has a cub.
Exactly.
But I didn't end up physically seeing any wildlife while I was there, which was kind of a bummer. I did kind of want to see a big moose or something. I saw some prints and some poo kind of stuff around, but that course is great. And then after that, I went down to Billerica, is how it's pronounced, Massachusetts. Okay. Just in between Boston and Manchester, New Hampshire, and it's a fun little course. The property was simply amazing. Like, if they came to me and said, "Hey, we want to put a championship level course here, just the biggest, baddest course you could do," that property would have been the best I've ever seen for it.
Dang!
Oh wow!
But that's not what they want. Oh, they wanted a more junior-friendly AM style course, which I respect, you know, because there's not a lot there's nothing in that city. Mm-hmm. So I agreed to that, and I kind of made an agreement with them that what we could do there is put 2 tees on every hole, a junior pad, something relatively easy for the kids to enjoy, and then back it up a little bit, maybe advance, maybe local pro level course that people like us can go out and enjoy. Right. Throw some drivers every now and then. Yeah, sure. But no, it's going to be a great course. There's kind of a trail system that runs through it. So they wanted me to not incorporate the trail, but have it to where a couple holes would end. You'd pop out to the trail, walk the trail to the next hole, just to kind of get some more exposure to the sport for people that are just using those trails and seeing like, hey, what's going on here? What are you doing? You know, it's going to help introduce disc golf to some people. So that place is great. It's going to be awesome. And then after that, I came home. But I came home. I think I was on 8 flights in 8 days. God. While I was up there, and I believe every single flight had some form of issue. Right?
It's the worst.
So I'll tell you about the worst one real quick. Yeah. The worst one was I flew into Bangor, Maine. Okay, from Rochester, New York. So I flew from Rochester to DC. In DC, we got on the plane. And they came over, the captain comes over and says, when the captain's talking before you take off, it's never a good thing. Right. Well, he said, hey, we got a mechanical issue, which is something I love hearing right before I fly. We have a mechanical issue. We need to get that thing fixed, here real quick. We'll be back with you in a minute. So an hour goes by. He comes across, says, all right, we finally got it fixed, got it worked out, we're ready to go. We start taxiing. We set on the runway for 25 more minutes because it's DC, so there's planes taking off every 2 minutes. Then he finally comes back on and says, hey, it's our turn to take off, but we're going to taxi back and get you guys off the plane because there was a plane crash at the airport you're flying to. Bro. And I'm like, what? This is just not good. Come to find out, it was just like a smaller Cessna personal aircraft that hit and kind of did a nosedive. And apparently it sounded like it wasn't that big of a deal, but air traffic control wouldn't let anybody up in the flight or up in the air. And wow. Yeah. And then even on the way home.
As much as a plane crash cannot be a big deal, right?
Exactly.
It's still a freaking plane crash.
It's still a plane crash. And then on the way home, my last flight, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to be delayed a couple hours because air traffic control just called and said that they've booked too many flights and there's too much traffic in the air right now. And I'm like, what? I've never heard that in my life.
There is lots of air up there.
It's so crazy.
Wow.
So and I'll tell you why. It's because none of those flights were Southwest.
Yeah, come on.
There it is.
Southwest.
That's got to be the problem.
It's really good, man.
I just really enjoy it.
Well, Hannibal said 1975. Thanks for the super chat. He wanted to say, glad to see EMAC is back home and safe and sound.
Thank you.
There you go.
It's good to be back home.
Thanks for the $5 there, Hannibal.
Yeah,
It's
thank
Good
you,
to be
Hannibal.
back for a couple days.
Right.
That's
and
crazy,
then
though.
Head on out.
All right, so we'll get to Robert's performance over the weekend here a little bit later.
Yeah, everyone should get excited about it.
Get super excited and pumped about it. Okay, so we have a lot of questions coming up. But then I heard, Eric, you're here for like a short time, then you head back out. Well, we go to the disc golf experience.
That's more what I'm talking. I'll be here next
Denver,
week.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll be here next week for our episode, but next week is Denver. We're going to Denver. The week after that is Junior Worlds. I don't know if we're going to record during Junior Worlds or not.
We should be able to. I have to
possibly.
look at the schedule. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then I leave for Alaska for a couple weeks. So
yeah, so good times. Good times.
But I took August off.
No mas.
Wait, what about Pro World? Are you not even going there?
Probably not.
Okay. All right, so we've got lots and lots of disc golf questions. We actually have a lot of speak pipes, so we're going to hit that up first. Guys, remember, as always, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com, submit your disc golf question. Please, I urge you, don't send anything in that's time sensitive because we have about 95 questions in the form and about 10 questions in the speak pipe. So we're not going to be able to get to anything that's time sensitive. And if you've noticed that you've asked a question that you're like, wow, I asked that a long time ago and it's not getting answered, I'm going to keep it real.
Because we didn't like the question.
I don't like you. No.
The man said it.
I'm going to keep it real. If it's a question that like gets asked a lot, I just go ahead and delete it. Now, that doesn't mean, that's not to say that we won't ask something that's never been asked before, but there's a couple that get asked a lot, like what's your favorite disc and stuff like that we've gone over quite a bit, so we won't do that. Anyway, all right, let's get to some questions. This first one is from Shay Stevens. And Robert, I might have to get some little help from you just in case on the volume for channel 4, just in case.
I'm ready.
Hang tight. You standing by?
Yep.
Here we go. Here's Shay Stevens.
What's up, Bobby? CDSB. Robert, give or take. McCall. EMAC, hope you're back.
Hey.
And Team Vandal behind the scenes. This is Shay from Philly, and I wanted to share an idea with you. I feel like the disc golf community doesn't really have a realistic view of our size and influence, among other things. Despite having issued over 100,000 membership numbers, there are only about 40,000 active PDGA members across the globe. I think this makes it really hard for the PDGA to market to potential sponsors. So I've been trying to find a way to increase that active membership. My idea would be for the PDGA to offer a $20 recreational membership targeted to players who don't play tournaments for whatever reason. Based on the State of Disc Golf survey, that seems to be a pretty significant population. You'd receive your membership card, little bag tag, etc. You just wouldn't get that $10 discount for sanctioned events, and maybe not the magazine, depending on how much that thing costs. I think it would be similar to buying a bag tag from a club to support them, even if you know you're not going to be around to play their events. I think it may get the PDGA a little more money, but more importantly, give them better data to bring to the bargaining table. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, keep it real.
Seems like a fair enough idea. I just don't know, though.
The benefit has to be there for them.
You're right.
Absolutely.
By human nature, people want to know what's in it for them.
Yeah.
Whether it's now the thing that could be in it for them is helping the sport out. So, that's something. But most people want something maybe a little more tangible or a little more.
Of monetary value.
Yes.
Correct.
My thing is, though, is there I don't know if disparity is the right word, but so you've got the people that would pay $20 that can't pay $20 now, but they have to pay the full price now. Would we lose out at more of the higher end of memberships because a lot of those people would decrease to the $20?
Of course.
Now his theory is that more people would join because it's a lower cost.
So that could even out.
Right, but a lot of times that's just simple economics when you have something people say, well, maybe you need to raise your prices. You'd be like, whoa, you're not going to sell as much. But the difference between what you were selling it at and the price you bring it to, the difference might make up for the lack of customers that you may get. So that would be my debate argument for that.
Well, another thing would be that he said even if you have one of these, you'd still have to pay the $10 extra charge for playing like a C or a B tier. So if you have people who really are tournament players who want to do it,
that's true. They're going to play their tournament.
Yeah, I mean they're just going to pay the one for $50 if they're an advanced or lower player. 50 or 55, something like that.
Because pro is 75.
Yeah, it's definitely lower for the amateur side.
You're right. So after 3 tournaments, you might as well.
You might as well have done the other.
Yeah, that's.
It just I think that you have to target that market properly and figure out what would be. It's like you said, what's in it for them? What's their return on their $20?
Right.
I think that's something that would be important.
Well, where do you draw the line too? As far as if someone is willing to throw $20 down, why wouldn't they be willing to throw an extra $30 down too? If it's something that's supporting a cause,
right.
You know what I mean? $30 more really isn't that much to get a lot more benefits for it, but
it does sound like. $20 sounds much more reasonable than $50 for whatever reason.
Sure, it does. I would much rather pay $20 for something.
Well, heck yeah,
than $50 all day long. But
apparently, someone on the Facebook group, I can't remember who it was, doesn't think that $4 to $5 is the price you should pay for a taco.
Oh yeah, what a joke! I'd pay $10 for the right taco.
Right.
Come on.
Now, he said he had $1. He paid one time, I can't remember what he said, but he paid $1 for a taco. It's a delicious taco.
I paid $1.50 every day every day I go to El Marmol for tacos.
Yeah, they're good tacos.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
But they're not. I'll pay $5 for a taco
if it's a good taco,
and it's got to be, rather large.
Yeah,
I'm not paying
taco.
$5 for a Taco Bell taco.
Yeah, or definitely not like the Marmol size tacos, like the silver dollar size tacos.
Yeah.
All right, his next one is from Scott.
Scott from Illinois. Team deputy all the way. Don't worry, Robert. I still throw the warden. My question is about the EMAC Truth. Can you explain the durability of each of the plastic types? I'm looking for a Fusion EMAC Truth, and I just want to know if it's more overstable than the basic plastic, understable, or what do you recommend?
Sweet,
yeah. I'm actually. It's funny you say that because Anthony and I are going to be putting together a video very soon with all the different EMACs as far as, just checking stability. Maybe not necessarily durability, kind of like what you're looking for, but for me personally, longevity across the board, Lucid is where it's at. Lucid all day long. It's not the most overstable out of the box, but to me, it holds its true line the longest.
Yes.
Fusion is pretty similar. I would give Fusion a nod in stability over the Lucid, but it definitely will beat in a little quicker than the Lucid. Most overstable, aside from like Lava
or Lucid X.
Yeah, and Lucid X isn't even as. At least that flat run that came out.
Right, they started
pretty beefy, but they beat in pretty quick. I think if the Lucid X were a little domier, I think they'd be like these. If you were throwing one of those ice ones. But the Lava is definitely the absolute most overstable, and it stays overstable for quite some time. But they are a little bit more difficult to get a hold of. Yeah. They're kind of hard to find. But the baseline ones are actually very overstable out of the box, but obviously beat in a little quicker. So my suggestion with you is, and this is obviously personal preference on what type of plastic you like. So if you like the Fusion will be great for you all around. But for me personally, I would recommend the Lucid as far as just stability and longevity as far as holding up durability-wise.
For sure.
Excellent.
Hold on a second. Marty in the chat says, Bobby, what's the deal? Haven't seen any pictures of Sebastian lately. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Just want to double check it. No, that was an important question.
Yeah. No, I'll post some more pictures of Sebastian. He's doing good.
The little piggy himself.
He has.
I saw a little Sebastian walking in the airport when I was walking around.
Nice.
I was like, oh my God, is that Sebastian?
What's funny though, I don't know what I've given him or what, but lately he's had He's had some nice French bulldog gas.
Toots.
Little toots. But the funniest thing is he was, while I was watching TV, and he was laying in his bed that's near the TV so I can see him out of my peripheral, and he gave out a toot, and it scared him. Because he was like barely falling asleep, and he went,
huh?
like looked around.
Wake yourself up.
Yeah, so it was funny.
Classic.
All right, next question comes from Nathan. Do you think it's possible to carry too many discs?
Yes.
I imagine at some point there's a lot of overlap, or there are too many options per shot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that a lot of newer players fall prey to that, especially when they really only have kind of one or two shots to choose from. Maybe they carry, a few levels of stability in each of their speed ranges, when really they could get away with just, like one raider and a trespass, and then, a felon and an explorer or something like that. I definitely think it's possible to carry too many. Though if you have a ranger bag and you've got plenty of room and you really only need like 15 discs, you want to bring some extras to mess around with or try out. I don't think that's necessarily bad. But yeah, I do think it's possible to carry too many just to, like, they're not different enough to make a huge difference. I could see that being the case.
Yeah, and backups are obviously different.
Yes.
A different story. But I think, personally, for me, I like to keep it somewhat minimal, because if you play with me ever, you'll notice that I'm reaching for the same handful of discs every time. So, I mean, it's just, I don't want to have... which one should I try to throw, this one or this one? Then I start questioning and start doubting myself on the tee, and that's something that you never want. You want to be confident with that shot. So, this is the disc I want to throw. This is the one I know. This is the one I'm going to throw.
Yep.
Excellent. Next one, let's see, comes from Glenn. To pump or not to pump? That is the question.
Are we here to pump you up?
Do we have the 18-plus disclaimer on the show?
Right.
Or?
Yeah. That's his question. I'm just teasing. That was part of his question. He says, I used to do a slight pump of the disc before my reach back, a la Nate Doss or Paul Macbeth. But I decided to drop that for my swing. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on the pump by Reebok? No,
I love them. Have a pair.
Seems like the benefit is it will help with timing, but the drawback is that it adds more room for error/inconsistency. Thanks for your time.
True, it could. I don't know. For me, if it's you want to stick to a similar routine throughout, whatever your little, quirks are through a routine. It's kind of like Paige when she putts. She has her little
wrist flick.
That she had mentioned what that's for. I think it's to make sure she's following through or getting enough pop on the disc or whatever their case may be. But there's definitely quirks to it, but I don't necessarily think it's. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. I mean, it works really well for the two names that you had mentioned. So I think if it's done correctly, it's fine. I don't know that there's a wrong way to do it. Yep. But, I mean, I've seen you don't want to be like, if you're doing the pump, quote, pump, you want to make sure you're on the line that you're planning on hitting.
Yes.
You don't want to, like, pump up high or pump down low. Or
extra stuff.
Yeah.
I agree. I've seen, it's like you said, I've seen people do it successfully. Nate Doss comes to mind. And then, you think of somebody like Simon Lizotte, who really kind of just rotates his body around the disc instead of bringing it forward. I don't think I would intentionally be like, hey, I have to put this in or I have to not. It's really just what's comfortable for you.
Yeah, it's whatever works for you, really, at the end of the day.
It's like you said, that it does help with timing sometimes. When you, if you're used to kind of, I don't know, pumping the disc forward as you're getting into your footwork, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a routine.
Yeah, if it's part of your thing, that's cool, as long as it's not a lot of extra motion. I think that's the big key.
Agreed.
Big keys. Next one comes from Shay. We're going back to Shay Stevens. He had another question, looks like.
What's up, guys? This is Shay from Philly again with not so much a question, but more a request for Robert and or Danny. I need you guys to be real friends and either right now or after the show, get on PDGA.com with Bobby, find him his next tournament, and sign him up. This isn't just about you anymore, Bobby. Do it for your loyal fans. Go, Bobby. Beat Tony.
He's already got one. He's playing next weekend.
Where you been, Shay?
What?
I'm playing the B tier.
Oh, the USA NPC one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Sweet.
the B tier. So during the United States Amateur Match Play, of course, we're going to have 64. We start with 64.
64 is the total, yeah.
Yeah, 64. And now sometimes they don't all make it, right?
Right. And
It's
sometimes
single
they
elimination.
don't. But so what they're doing this year is like, all right, so we've got spots for 64 people to compete.
Oh, I see
and then
what
we
you're
have 64
Right.
regions,
I
right?
gotcha.
But sometimes like someone will qualify and not be able to make it.
Right.
So we're doing a last chance qualifier.
Right.
Yes.
And that will fill those 64 spots. So let's say 50 people show up, 14 people from the last chance qualifier will get in and then play on Friday.
Gotcha. So basically what
Can
my
I
point
get
is,
Yeah. What's are you rated under 970?
Yeah, I am now.
Sick. Nice.
getting closer.
Tanked
getting
my
closer.
rating big time so I could get more
Now
free
you guys
discs.
know why I'm tanking my rating so I can win the match.
Can you technically, could you go back? Could someone do that?
If
And I
my
guess you
rating
could,
got
but that
low
would
enough, I would
that'd be
But
awful.
you're still a pro status.
true.
Doesn't matter.
It's rating though.
This
It's
is rating at the
based.
beginning of
Just
the
for
year.
match play, though. Not you couldn't like all of a sudden go, you know what? I'm going to start playing more amateur division. Could you play amateur divisions?
No, I can't. But if my rating was low enough, I could.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so let's say the Dynamic Discs Open, and your rating is low enough to qualify to play the amateur division. Since you've already played pro,
I see what you're saying.
could
So,
you technically sign up and win merch?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
As long as
your
my rating is below
970.
Well, okay.
and it's a lower tier event. Like you'd have to reapply to be
Yes.
considered an amateur.
Yeah.
So there are steps you'd have to take.
Yeah,
pretty sure
I
that's
couldn't
right.
just sign up and be like, no, duh, my rating, man, I dropped. And-
Man, I really sucked. 1 by 20.
Okay, so my point was at the match play, we know a lot of people come out here, and for the first day, they may not make it to the 64 brackets, and then after that, how many people drop out?
The first round is
It's
half.
like half
32.
the
field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So-
it's just like March Madness.
Right.
If you look
It's
at it
one
that
and done.
way.
So we get that a lot of people are driving out of town, spending money to come out here. So we try to create, well, not try, we did. We create disc golf events for them to play. So we actually have a flex start of XC tier at Hammond Park.
I'm going to play that. That one I will
Are you?
play.
We're actually the media team's going to play that on Friday, and then Saturday there's a B tier that only amateurs can play. So I'm going to play it, and so that it will be my rated round that
That's
I play.
Friday?
That's Saturday.
Saturday.
So 2 rounds. So I'm going to go play, and it's Jones East and
East.
West, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah. So
Is it all? It's an all day B tier, like yeah.
Yeah,
So you
round
play
one.
one on each round.
Yep.
One on each course. Sorry.
yeah. So that'll be my rated round for the
Huh, I
weekend,
wonder
and I
if they're
should do
supposed
pretty
to
good
move any baskets.
because I've played there before. I've played there quite often, but
Yeah.
I may have to play a time or two before the weekend.
Oh, there you go. Hops and
I'm-
Heisers tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
Where's that at?
Jones East.
Jones East.
Oh, maybe.
I'm a little sad that I'm going to be out of town this weekend because I would 100% caddy for you if I was in town on Saturday.
Oh, I need a good little coaching.
We would talk. We'd talk strategy.
You don't want me to
Get
coach.
you to do your best.
No, because he would yell at me.
You
and
would
cuss-
probably
and cuss me out.
You would probably get courtesy violations.
Right.
Yeah.
For my caddy.
You're not on the card. I don't care.
So I got that rated round in. All right, here's the next one from where is your name at? Undecided. He can't decide on his name.
Undecided.
He
It's
says, "Hey,
2019, man. It's time to decide. Come on.
Maybe that is his name.
hey,
Hey.
2019. You don't have to decide.
You do you. It's 2019, man.
All right, so
rules are
moving
not
on. Moving on.
It is June.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer fam, man. I play left hand backhand, but I'm not that good.
That's why he's undecided.
Same here.
Do you think it would be an advantage to switch to right hand backhand since it seems a lot of holes courses are more righty friendly? Thanks a bunch. I don't know that would be a factor.
It is.
Is it? I mean,
I think it's certainly a factor.
but you think someone can significantly improve their disc golf games simply by switching their hand?
No. Okay, so here's where it's at. I think if you learn to play with your dominant hand, that's your best shot at being good. Or if you're somebody like Max Nichols is this way, where he is a right-handed player, but he played baseball so much growing up that the baseball swing just felt more comfortable for him to throw with his left hand. So he throws all of his shots lefty, right? And then has a right hand forehand.
Okay.
AJ Risley is kind of the same. He throws right hand backhand, but can throw left hand forehands because he is left-handed. Right.
Okay.
So
so like he writes with his right hand?
I think AJ
Left
writes with
hand.
his left.
I mean left hand. Yeah, that's what I meant.
I'm pretty sure. Okay. So having all that said, unless you're one of those circumstances, like I never really played baseball, at least to the point where it mattered. None of it matters. Right? Right-handed. That's true.
Sure.
The right-handed play always came easier to me because that's my dominant hand. Okay. Had I been a left-handed person and I was bad at disc golf and I was able to learn right-handed, I think I would have more of an advantage. Let's say 2 800 rated players, one left-handed, one right-handed, walk onto any disc golf course, or most disc golf courses. The right-handed player is going to have an advantage because most disc golf courses are designed by right-handed players and with right-handed players in mind. I'm not saying that is correct.
That is not what I do, but just
yes. And the championship level courses, you'd see a lot more variance, which is great. But if you just walk up to any old park course, most of the time it's advantage to the righty. Mm-hmm. Most of the time.
But enough to make you want to change. I mean, so much more.
Hold on.
That's what I'm getting at.
So I'm just saying that 2 equally skilled players, one left-handed, one right-handed. The majority of courses will favor the right-handed player.
Well,
the majority. Wait. Now, if you are, if you're left-handed and that's your dominant hand, and it would be extremely foreign to learn with your opposite hand, which would be most people and probably the person in this situation.
You should just quit playing disc golf.
You should just not play anymore. No, I would just continue working on your left hand because everyone's bad when they start.
He asked because he's isn't it ambidextrous?
Ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if he's that, I mean, I would assume he'd
then try it out
anyway. But I would also recommend working on a forehand game.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
I mean, obviously we would need more information from Mr. Undecided, but he can't even decide on his name, so he may not be able to decide on which hand to throw with. But I guess I don't see it. I can see switching hands as a minor improvement because of the reason stated that most holes are made for right hand players.
Right.
But I can't imagine it's such a significant difference that someone would literally change. I guess it does. That is part of the equation. Are you literally someone that can go right hand, left hand with no big deal, or are you literally
starting over?
Right, you literally retraining yourself to throw with the opposite hand.
If you're totally starting over, I think then don't do that. And it may not even be that good anyway. But I'm just saying yes. If there are 2 equally skilled people, they're walking up to most courses, the right-hand player has an advantage.
Gotcha.
I think that's one of the reasons we haven't seen a left-handed world champion.
Isn't that crazy?
There's also, I mean, and you're also just playing a percentage game, though, as well. Because, what is it, 10? I think it's 10 or so % of people are left-handed. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a very small subset of disc golfers who even have an opportunity to get to that level to win a world championship. Yeah, so anyway.
That's crazy to think, though.
What?
Lefties never won a world title.
Has any lefties? How close has someone gotten that we know of?
Isn't Scott Martin? I think he was a lefty.
Don't know.
We know who used to be. I don't know. He's not anymore. Is it the highest rated lefty was Clemens for a while, wasn't it?
Clemens has been.
Didn't
Zach Melton has been.
Yeah.
Devin Owens has been over time. And Devin won an NT quite a while ago, 07, 08.
He almost won a major. He almost won
in Europe.
The tournament I traveled with Macbeth to.
I know which one you're talking about.
Copenhagen.
Yes.
Copenhagen. He missed a putt on the last hole for
and Paul made it.
Yeah. But yeah. It was a big putt. I mean, I'm not saying he missed a putt. It was a big putt. Right. He just front-ended a 60-footer or something like that.
Yeah.
Just a real quick for our YouTube chatters, we will answer your questions at the end of the show, maybe even on the after show. So if you're putting questions in there and we don't get to them, remember them, and we will get to them here in a little bit. I am curious, though, real quick. Put the first in the comment. Put the word first if this is your first time ever tuning into a live Disc Golf Answer Man.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say the one tournament that does kind of surprise me that a lefty hasn't won yet is USDGC.
Ooh, yeah.
Because that is, I mean, I'm not saying it's a lefty course, but it is, at least the last time I was there, the years that I went there, it was so lefty friendly.
There are a lot
just more dominant.
Yep.
The par 4s are all like hole 5, for instance. I would love to play a mirrored image of hole number 5 at USDGC, even hole 4.
Yep.
Like all those holes I would love to play. Wouldn't it be sweet if you could actually do that? Like on Tiger Woods, you could play mirrored images. Or Mario Kart.
Yeah, because then you're just ripping your long hyzer out over the water on one.
Yeah.
Same thing on 2.
3 of them.
Yeah, and then another one, and then probably inside the circle, putting for 4. Whereas we're throwing like kind of a weird forced over shot, and then a straight shot.
And I got to get as close to the water without going in.
It's very tricky.
Oh, I'd love to be a lefty. I mean, the par 3s are a little more challenging, I think, for lefties out there.
But like 16, 17, both great lefty holes.
Yeah, you're right. Coming down the stretch, that's the most important part too.
Yes.
All right, before we go to the next question, again, YouTubers, real quick, I'm going to ask you, hit that share button, hit that like button, hit the thumbs up, tap the share button, see if we can get a few more viewers in here. Maybe we give away a disc. This next question is from somebody that I do not want to play disc golf with because probably by the end of the round you'll be dead.
Oh, dang.
John Wick sends us a question.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The John Wick?
The John Wick. Apparently he plays disc golf.
Cool. Is it him or is it Keanu?
I think it's the real John Wick.
Okay.
Hey, disc golf answer. Men, just watch Central Coast St. Patty's Classic. St. Patty's Day Classic.
Good event. I've played it before. In
it, Josh Anton was a foot from an OB road and was wondering if he could take relief and throw from OB. Cardmate said no, but the commentators weren't sure. What is the ruling?
Wanted to throw from OB? Like
Anton was a foot from an OB road and was wondering if he could take relief.
You can take
relief.
your meter in from the road, but you can't throw from OB ever.
Right.
I mean, without knowing any extra circumstance, like the only thing I could think is maybe he landed in casual water that was right by the road, and his only spot for relief would have been out of bounds. Even still, you can't throw from out of bounds.
Yeah.
Those are the rules.
Yeah, my understanding, but no matter what, you've got to figure it out. But you can't throw while you're OB.
Sorry, bro.
What event was it? Was it GBO? Yeah, it was during GBO during the FPO round. I was walking with Sean Sinclair, and that's one of the rules that he would like to have changed, that you can actually throw from out of bounds.
Why? Because he is silly?
Well, he made a couple good points, I thought. It could very well change the game. I mean, strategy of things, like think if there's an OB line like running this way and there's a tree line, and the basket's like up over here or something, it'd be easier to step out this way and out of bounds. And
you're still throwing over OB all the way.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, and it really wouldn't change the game at all, I don't feel, but I can understand. It would take away that, well, you can't do that. Like Macbeth, because that's what sparked the conversation when Macbeth threw that shot on 18 where his back foot was on the sidewalk. Was it on the sidewalk? I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Well, guess what? That's legal now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Stuff like it would help with some of those silly ticky-tack rules that nobody likes to call.
Yep.
I think it'd be kind of cool to try that out.
For sure.
I would definitely get in the pond and play my shot.
Heck yeah. Why not?
All right, next question comes from G.
What's up, G?
What is up, guys? This is your boy G from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Your boy.
I just woke up right now, and I can't stop thinking about the dream I had last night.
Uh-oh.
And I had a dream about Eagle McMahon.
Oh.
No, not that kind of dream. I know what you guys are thinking.
Wrong podcast.
But actually, I was his caddy for the Beaver State Fling. He was having some challenges in my dream, and I reeled him in. I got his mental game on point. Don't worry about that putt, Eagle. You're going to nail the next couple ones. And he kind of reeled it together, and he took the Beaver State Fling by a large margin. Woke up.
Close.
A little disappointed that actually didn't happen because we had such a great time together, but it made me think, if somebody like me, somebody who doesn't tour, a casual player, wants to reach out to a pro player and offer his services as a caddy, is that possible? I live in Vancouver. Portland's not too far away. Do you guys have any advice on how to reach out to a touring pro and offer your services as a caddy in regards to what to say? How do you reach out to them? Do you email them? Do you go through Instagram? Do you slide in the DMs? What do you do, guys? Any thoughts on this would be most appreciated, and keep it real.
All right, I'll keep. Oh, wow, thank you.
We'll keep it real.
All right, so I'm going to keep it real. I would.
5 stars.
I would definitely not call him and open with, "I've had a dream with you. I need to caddy for you."
I had a dream. I don't know. If somebody says, "Hey, I had a dream,"
and you won,
I caddy for you,
and you won,
by a lot.
maybe. So I think that's one of the things that is really cool about this day and age, social media and niche sports, is that the availability and the words seem to escape
accessibility.
Me. Thank you.
You got it.
Accessibility to our pros are in this sport. Now, a lot of people say that's why I love disc golf, but I gotta imagine that other niche type sports are probably very similar.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right? I mean, ones
probably.
So, I mean, there's in my mind, knowing obviously I'm not a pro that goes out there and plays, but just knowing pros,
You're also not an AM that goes out there and plays. Hey yo, get some tournaments in, or you suck. Okay, go ahead.
Is someone going to screenshot this?
Boom, roasted.
I mean, look, I came here to keep it real, and that's what I'm going to do.
All right. So,
sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, Eric, for the distraction. That's my bad.
It's okay.
How to keep it real.
So a lot of times it seems what happens is you'll see a pro will put out a call on Facebook and says, "Hey, I'm looking for a caddy for this particular event," and they'll give you a percentage of their winnings or something like, or
you don't really
or something
see
like
that anymore, though.
No, not a lot. It used to be a thing.
I think it's because a lot of the players out there now kind of have that person in certain areas. Hey, you've caddied for me before.
Right.
Let's do it again. I mean, as far as reaching out to somebody like on Facebook or Instagram like that, keep in mind there's a good chance if you're not friends with them or they're not following you, they may never see that message. Because a lot of times it goes to the other box and it's so just that's something to keep in mind.
I would say, just the normal way you would communicate with anybody else. Try it, but don't be offended if they don't respond, because I got to imagine, like, some people I know don't even prefer to have someone caddy for them because they're in their zone, they're in their game.
That's me.
And you've practiced a certain way, you've thought a certain way, you've done things a certain way, and to have somebody caddy for you might kind of throw that off a little bit.
And to me, it's not necessarily that. It's more of, I don't mind caddies sometimes, but if somebody's caddying for me, I want to be able to know them and have that personal connection with it. Like if Robert wanted to caddy for me at an event, sure, he's we've played enough rounds together. He knows my game.
Yeah, we
I'm
can
fine
strategize.
with that kind of thing. Somebody I don't know, it's a little harder because I feel like I have to be on.
You have to entertain them a little bit.
And when I'm out practicing, I don't have a caddy.
Right.
So I preach to play like I practice.
Right.
And if I'm practicing carrying my bag around, I don't mind hauling my bag around. I feel naked without it sometimes out there.
Yeah, I
just had a dream with you. No.
It had nothing to do with disco.
I enjoy having a caddy. It's much preferred when I know the person well. But I've lucked out with people who I didn't know very well before the tournament.
Oh, me too. Like Stieg, for instance, has been one of the best caddies I've ever had in my life, and I didn't know who the guy was.
Right. The guy who caddied for me at USDGC last year, his name's Morgan Long. He was just in town checking things out, and he's friends with Jerry Patterson up in Kansas City, or they're related or something like that. But I mean, he just offered a caddy. I was like, heck yeah, and it was awesome. Like he was, really positive, upbeat. Kept me kind of focused, but also loose. Like that was awesome. I had an awesome one at Piney Woods. I've had an awesome one at a couple of other ones, but I have been hesitant before to just accept any and all because of the reason that you said. Like, you don't want to get in there and be thinking about anything other than disc golf. And sometimes that means when you have a caddy who you don't know, it's like, you have to. A lot of times you're going to hear, questions from them. Hey, what do you think about this disc? What do you think about this shot? Did you watch this tournament? And I was like, I'm here to play disc golf. Like I'm here to compete for me, and do the best that I can. And so there's just a little bit of a give and take in that. Yeah. Danny caddied for me this weekend. He was fantastic. Pow.
But to answer your question, how to reach out to them, I mean, you can give a shot on Facebook or Instagram. And honestly, there's a lot of players that if you're just at the tournament and see them, ask them just in person. Hey, do you want a caddy? Just don't do it like during their. I mean, you could do it during their round, I suppose. But if they look like they're focusing or like practicing or getting ready, putting or whatever, don't approach them. Then find the right time
chilling,
to do it.
Talking with their buddies, sure.
And again, don't be offended if they decline. You've given them the choice by asking them. Don't be offended if they choose no.
Yeah.
Next one comes from Joel Amundsen. Amundsen.
Okay.
Yep.
Munson?
Amundsen.
You really got Munson in the middle of nowhere?
Hey guys, my name is Joel from Columbia, Missouri. I've recently been psyching myself out on routine 15 to 20 foot birdie putts. If there's a 15-footer for par, I'll drain it, no problem. But if it's for birdie, I'll miss it probably like 50% of the time. My mind starts going, don't miss, and then, of course, I miss. I recently played around and ended 2 under, but I could have easily been 6 under due to my birdie anxiety. So my question is, has any of you struggled with this, and what did you do to overcome it? Are there any ways to distract your mind from those don't miss thoughts?
Be confident. It's such an easy answer for me, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I mean, right away when you said, I miss these,
yeah,
your confidence is out the window. You're going to miss those.
Right.
So...
There's a thing that Zoe does that I can't remember if she talked about in the latest Physics of Flight. Did Zoe do putting in Physics of Flight? Danny, I can't remember. Zoe and I? Yeah, hers was putting. I don't know if she specifically said it in that one, but I've heard her at at clinics where she talked about, she literally tells herself, I am the best putter in the world.
Yep.
I am going to make this putt.
Yeah, I love it.
She actually is.
No, that's something else.
What?
What?
Oh, great.
Well, it's a video I've got on my phone that
Yeah.
I'm going to release
Just,
at some point.
just
okay.
a different player saying that when they have their putters in their hand, they feel like they're the best. And then the first shot out of the gate is just a total airball.
When you see it, you'll know
Hilarious.
what we're talking
You'll
about.
know.
We can't
I'm
spoil it.
waiting for the right
Hilarious.
time.
Right.
It's coming.
So anyway, my point is Zoe preaches pretty much, she tells herself she's going to make the putt. She's going to do this. This is what she's going to do. And she is the best putter in the world because that is part of it, the mental part. And you've got to tell yourself you can do this. It may sound silly. It may sound up in the clouds, self-helpy type stuff, but it really helps her. And, I mean, for this year, she's the world champion putter for 2018. So
It's about being
Or
confident.
2019. No, 2018. 2018's
yeah.
not yet.
No, I think you're exactly right. Putting is so much more mental than it is physical. I think you could be a really great thrower and have great putting mechanics, and if you don't think that you're a great putter or you're not confident when you step onto putts, it doesn't matter. You'll be out-putted all the time.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, putting is, I think, more mental than any other part of disc golf, by far.
There you go. Next one comes from Ian. Hey, guys, I loved your video about creating a beginner bag of 8 to 9 discs. That was back in 2017. Remember me and you worked on that video? Yep. So what it is, it's a video where my first disc golf bag or beginner bag, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com. Nope. You can go to dynamicdiscs.com and look under the beginner's guide. So if you have somebody that's just starting out and you're not sure what to if you're not sure what to tell them, if you want a more thorough way of telling it, dynamicdiscs.com, look for the beginner's guide, and there's actually a web page that talks about what discs a beginner should get, and Robert did a video about that. Anyway, so he says that's
was that video?
Yeah,
unreleased.
No, that one was released.
Oh, did you put it out there?
I think on Facebook. We put it on
got
Facebook.
moved, yeah. I remember seeing it.
As a follow-up, do you have any recommendation for plastic type and weight for these discs?
I think if it's for a brand new beginner, the most cost-effective way to get into those is prime. Get you some prime discs. Get them lighter rather than heavier. Anything in the 150s, 160s would be pretty good. That's what I would go for sure.
Another route is if he gets to the prime, or he can look for Biofusion, which is a plastic that's a mix of 2 premium plastics, but it's cheaper than the premium plastics. Also, some people that have the slower arms, they tend to like the Biofusion because it beats in. Now, that's not for everybody, but a kind of general thought is, a lot of times when I like a disc, I often think, I wonder what it flies like in Biofusion.
Right.
Because it's going to have just that little bit more of a turn for my slower arm.
For sure.
My other thought is also misprint bins. Look for those misprints because you can get those for $10, $11, $12. Save yourself $4 or $5 on a disc when you get those.
Try it out. See if you like it.
And then, obviously, once you get more involved in disc golf, then you'll really start getting into whether I like Lucid, whether I like Fusion, and then you'll get more particular about your discs and things like that. So
nice.
All right, next one is from Cole.
Hey guys, it's Cole from Seattle-ish. Hope you guys are having a good day. Well, so I saw that that article about the molds going out of production for now, and I was thinking, are you guys gonna start making more Lucid X to make up for it? Because I think a lot of molds, like the Felon, could be made in Lucid X to make up for other molds like the Criminal going out of production.
You're in luck.
Is that in the plans at all? Do you guys know? Can you guys even share that yet? Or anything would be cool, I guess. Thanks, guys.
Anything would be
I like
cool.
the end of that one.
We actually have Lucid X Felons.
Yeah,
so.
does he not know?
And I think
Maybe he
they're
doesn't know.
arriving on this container that's
we've got
outside.
Oh yeah, because we're getting some restock of some Lucid X. So
That's not a container.
Never mind.
Just an air pallet.
Just a truck.
Lucid X, as my understanding, is specifically formulated for tour fundraising discs.
For the most part.
For the most part.
There's a few new ones.
I mean, like the Truth we had.
Well, that's
not
true.
the EMAC, but
right, but it's not going to be like a regular run of plastic. It's not going to be like a Fusion where it's going to be in every disc. We're going to have Fusion versions
Standard
and stuff like
stock.
that. Yeah.
Right.
We're going to talk more about the retired molds. Now, you got Jeremy's opinion on stuff yesterday on the DD updates. If you haven't watched that, go back. You should be able to listen to it if you are subscribed to us, because I put the audio version out actually this morning. So if you're not subscribed and you just grab different episodes, you want to hear that, make sure you subscribe to the Disc Golf Answer Man. If you're on YouTube, you can go back and watch that video. But on the after show, I actually did some polls to get some opinions from people about the retired molds, and we're going to talk about that on the after show. And we'll talk a little bit more on the retired molds. But the most part, for his question, the Lucid X, that's not going to be a new plastic. Yeah. At least not now. Now, who knows what's going to happen? But right now, the plan is not to have Lucid X as a regular plastic to quote unquote replace some of those retired discs.
I would assume that will. Yeah, that's going to continue to be that
right,
way because
sure
of how limited it is to even get that plastic.
I still want to be on like CNN or Fox News and have a soundbite of this, saying that I said that we wouldn't and we actually do.
Well, that's better than the other way around, saying that we are going to do something and then don't.
This is true.
Come on.
This is true. Whatever you do, don't put me on the Young Turks. So just don't. I don't want to be on that show.
Oh, I certainly can just sit here and cry.
We're crying. I can't even do it. I can feel it in my head.
That was great.
If you tell, so that'll be our price. I'm going to give a disc away. Eric just made a reference to a television show.
I did.
Tell me the television show and tell me the character that he referenced to, and I will pick a winner, and we will give away a disc from my goodies. Next one is from Andrew. Hey, Disc Golf Answer crew. I played a non-sanctioned tournament with some friends of mine. Overall, it was about having a good time, but I really wanted to play well. Because of that, I played a practice round at the course. I felt good about my shots and disc selection. Day of the tournament comes, and it's much windier.
Rip.
Suddenly, my predictable EMAC Truth was a flippy mess, but I still love it. I was completely in my own head. How do you guys adjust mentally and discally when suddenly
I like that one.
Suddenly your game plan goes out the window. So you practice.
Was this GBO?
It's glass. I was going to say it's glass blown open.
Sounds just like it.
And all of a sudden, your practice rounds were 5 mile an hour wind. Come tournament day, it's 25 mile an hour wind. What do you do?
Throw over stable. Honestly, I'll look at the forecast leading up to an event that I'm playing, and you'll kind of know if it's going to be breezy or not. And if it is, then I'll throw some extra more overstable stuff in my bag, like justices or enforcers or stuff like that. And I will lean on those discs quite a bit.
Yes.
And one thing that I will also do in windier conditions is if I have a goal in mind of what I want to shoot or a particular hole that I really want to birdie this hole, I just kind of set realistic expectations and tone that back a little bit and tell myself when it's super windy like that, pars are really good.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with, don't try to get it all in one shot off the tee. Tone back, throw like into a headwind. The best thing you can do is throw like 80%, something overstable, 80%, nice and easy. Get it out there. Work on getting it up by the basket and just putting it in. There's no shame in just getting a bunch of pars when it's super windy. Matter of fact, you get a bunch of pars, you're probably going to find yourself in contention.
Yeah, doing quite well.
So let me ask you a follow-up just for my benefit. So the other day, me and I think it was me and Danny were playing. No, it was tag night, so I was playing with a bunch of randos. No.
This freaking guy.
Wow.
I have a podcast, so everyone else is a rando.
I hope those randos aren't listening.
Let me hold my disc up while I throw it in the air. Let me just make sure my pinky is just at the correct angle.
Did you win your card?
I'm just kidding. No, I did not.
God, the randos got.
In fact, I came in with tag number 66 and left with tag 99, and I thought I did
Upside
fairly.
down.
I did kind of average of what I play.
The randos shredded you.
So I had some good throws. But anyway, there was some putts though because it was kind of windy, and I know that sometimes you have to. I was putting higher, right?
Yes.
Because the wind was. I knew that there was no.
Was it a tailwind or a headwind?
I don't
It's a
remember.
headwind, and
That's
you're
actually
putting
kind
higher,
of important.
You're in trouble.
I can't remember because I remember thinking putting up is good. How do you? I guess that's what you have to do. Is you have to just figure out if it's a headwind or tailwind and just go.
I'll
with
be
there.
honest, Bobby.
What?
With you, and I'm not picking on you
No,
or
yeah.
your skill level or anything like that. But if it's windy, like super windy out,
Put it on the pole.
put it on the pole. I don't care how far out you are. If you're outside that 10, 15 foot range and it's super windy, throw it at the pole.
Really?
Yeah.
Put it on the pole.
Guaranteed to drop it in the next putt, as opposed to putting and missing and going way past and having the same putt coming back.
Yeah.
You'll probably save a couple more strokes throughout the round if you just lay everything up.
Yeah,
Maybe 15 and out. You
Yeah.
know, those 10 footers obviously you want to go for. 15 even
Right.
maybe, but 20 foot,
Yeah.
throw it at the pole.
Right, and you may
Throw it at the lock.
You may still miss some inside that, but most of the time you're at least hitting something. You're
Right.
rarely airballing
Yeah.
from inside that distance. But yeah, like for me, if it's super windy and we're at like 30 to 35,
Yeah.
and I just don't feel comfortable, put it on the pole.
Depends on which
Thanks.
direction the wind's
Gotcha.
coming.
Yes,
I mean,
definitely.
obviously.
Dead headwind or for me, right to left wind is
And what's
my
around?
toughest
If
one.
there's OB around
or downhill.
anything
no shame.
side wind is just scary.
Yeah, there's no shame in just putting it right there, dropping in, move to the next.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, looks like we got some answers coming in from the what Eric McCabe did a quote from. And if you put The Office and Andy Bernard, you are right.
Nard dog.
And I'm going to kind of do a little scroll and then see the first where my cursor is, and that is Nick Stoley. Nick Stoley, I picked your name. You said The Office, Andy Bernard, so you got it right. Nick Stoley, I want you to be logged into your YouTube channel, take a screenshot, send an email to bobby@dynamicdiscs.com, and I will send you a disc from my goodie pile. Next question comes from a GBO player.
All right.
It's about to get real, Eric McKay.
This could be 1,600 people.
This is yes, it could. One of. All right, Eric.
Let's hear it.
He's got a question for you. He's a little miffed.
I'm sorry.
Why is the OB the way it is at the GBO courses? Everything about the week is 10 out of 10, but the actual tournament play is 6 out of 10.
Oh.
With how awful the OB lines are.
Ouch.
It makes play much more unenjoyable. A lot of the lines have no safety hazards, or it's another 10 to 15 feet from the water line. It's almost not even fun to play as an AM when you either have a great shot taken away by an OB line 15 feet away from the water, or just forced to play safe the whole round.
Play better.
I'm assuming this guy got first.
I think the answer
He probably
is
played well. No, he probably
get
didn't.
good. I think
Well,
that's what
here's the
kids say.
thing.
So that's kind of the snarky
Yeah, it is.
remark, which
It's
there's
fine.
some merit
That's-
to it. There's
no,
some
that's
merit to
fine.
it, but
I completely
yeah.
I respect it. Why do we paint OB lines? Well, if we didn't paint OB lines, it would be just complete chaos.
Yes.
And if we didn't paint the ponds and it rains throughout the week, those pond levels can come up and down. And then what? You know, I mean, it's just there's
Well, I don't know if he's more
reasons.
specific about painting it, but why he just said awful OB lines. I'm assuming he thought that maybe the OB was tight.
Well, it sounded like it was because it was 10 feet off the water's edge.
This is true. That's true. He did mention
That's
that.
what
Yeah,
I was
that's true.
addressing first,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least.
Yeah.
We do try to get as close to the water as we possibly can on some of those OBs, painting lines. Maybe we just shouldn't paint those OBs, and then you can sit there on 20-minute backups because people are arguing if I'm OB or not.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's that option as well, but that's just the core. I mean, an OB line is an OB line. I mean, it's
Yeah,
if
it
we
was there
paint
when you practiced it.
Exactly. That's my point. The line was there when you're out practicing the course. Let's just say that OB line, it represents the water's line. I mean, just because you're safe, not in the water, doesn't mean you're in bounds.
Right. I will say I can't.
I can understand some of it.
I
but
can't think of an OB line though that was painted 15 feet from the water's edge. If it's usually we just play the water's edge.
The only one that comes to mind is Jones West Hole 18. And that's because the rocks are out of bounds, and we do that because of safety.
Right, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And I don't paint all the lines now, so
that's correct.
If this message was directed at me, I did not paint all the lines in Emporia anymore. Like, I only do a couple of the courses anymore. But, the reason is there has to be an OB line. There has to be an OB line
just
somewhere.
Makes it easier.
It makes it easier. It does make the course a bit more challenging, but as Robert alluded to, the OB lines are all there when I would say 95% of the people practice, because what we start painting
more than
a
week
before.
Yeah.
So I can understand. I thought his issue was going to be that the lines are faded or they're starting to fade out a little bit, which possibly could be, but
yep.
I mean, I don't know. Let me ask you, questioner. What was his name?
GBO player.
GBO player. Let me
if
ask
that's
you,
your real name.
GBO player. Great name, by the way. What would you rather we do? Would you rather us just not paint any OB at all and it's just kind of like a free-for-all, go-for-it kind of thing? Or, write back. Send us another question in and let me know your suggestion on what we should do, and I'll take it to Doug, and we'll see.
Maybe we'll put a poll on YouTube like I do, and just put the different scenarios. Just not that it would influence. Well, it may influence a little bit, but just to see what the consensus is of what
as
people
far as
feel. As far as
should we paint OB lines at GBO?
I'm almost thinking paint OB lines. String OB lines, the wooden
don't
posts.
even put that an option.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No,
you know how that would...
Well, I'd like to see people's opinion to see if people...
Well, I understand that, but that opinion is impossible. I mean, we would need miles and miles of rope, for one. And two, we tried roping one hole at Cottonwood, and somebody stole the rope.
Sounds right.
I don't know, but it was gone. And people trip over it, and that's why.
Well, I would be curious, not just for GBO, but in general, what kind of
in general that'd be great. Yeah, what OB lines do you prefer?
Right,
I like that.
Yeah, just be a topic. So look for that in our community section of YouTube where we make posts.
Right.
And,
well, and I do think there's something to be said for painting OB lines so that you enforce that the OB is played the same by every card.
Exactly. Yeah,
right?
That's true, too.
Because, I mean, if the three of us go out and play and one of us is close to OB, but it's just the three of us, like, we'll be like, who cares, whatever. It only is really affecting us. But in a tournament, that's affecting everybody's rating. So, I think it does need to be uniform. So when OB lines aren't painted at tournaments and it's a little sketchy, that's when I think you get more of the... hotly contested conversations, things like that.
Well, and I would also make the point that OB line is pretty clear as to where it is.
Yes.
Because of the flags that we put down. And I don't know. When you first started the question, I thought he was going to ask about the walls at the country club. Yeah. Why we did it that way, which I personally think that way is the way to do it.
I agree.
All right, we got one last question here from Will. What's up, Bobby and the Disc Golf Boys? Had a question regarding rules in a marksman league. I played in and won the Winston, North Carolina League this year and had so much fun.
Nice.
Let's go.
Even had a hot 72-point round. There was what was that round you had? You had a near perfect one, right?
No, I had a perfect round.
Oh, the marksman.
Was it perfect? I thought you missed one.
No,
it was a perfect round. No, that's right.
Perfect.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't. There was one week.
First round, like first putt.
I made all five. I made all five of the first ones.
First station,
like a couple of times.
Perfectly.
Thank you.
There was one week in particular that we noticed someone pencil whipping the scorecard. I called him on it, and he changed his score before turning in his card. What's your protocol on this? Kick is it? Oh, he had been doing pretty well the other week, so it made me question all of his former scores.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
That's a shame.
Peace.
You go to that guy and you say, "Killing is my business."
I think it's
business.
I say Major Payne.
Oh man, I was going to do that another.
Too late.
Damon Wayans.
You get a disc from the goodies.
Yes.
Let's go.
No, he doesn't. So
punishable by death.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to call him out on it.
It's no different than anything. I don't think we have a rule in place for if somebody cheats at all of the marksman events, because I mean we don't run them, we just
facilitate them.
So let's say so you go from marksman lead, the marksman lead, the marksman lead, right? And your score goes through the whole league,
best,
right?
I think it's your best, 4 or 5 weeks out
right.
of the
So how do you trust his other scores?
You don't. I mean,
man, I guess it's kind of up to the TD how far he wants to take it.
Yeah, it's up to the person running the event what they would do in that situation. That's why it's nice to have we did it on UDisc this year. So that's why it was nice to go with a group. That's why we always have to go with a group. You can't just go out by yourself and then, I mean, you can't really I guess I could keep your score and you could keep mine, but you would have my phone. I would have your, which is fine. I suppose you could do it that way, but it's really about the honor system and why do you want to cheat at something like that? You know, I mean, why would somebody want to cheat you're only hurting yourself cheating at a putting contest, like a putting league.
Right.
You're not hurting anybody but yourself.
Ace Run Production has some good advice. He says you must be sensitive to his feelings.
Yeah, it's 2019.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so
you are not wrong.
I would be undecided about my feelings.
Yeah, like that guy earlier.
Like that guy is earlier. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Disc Golf Answerman audio podcast and the video podcast, the regular show. What? You don't like my radio voice?
Video podcast.
We will continue with the after show after a quick break. Remember, keep sending those questions in. We guys appreciate it. Make sure you go to iTunes, rate and review us. Review us. 5 stars. Get us so we rank high when people are looking for Disc Golf Podcast. All right, so last time we tried it, we just hung up. Oh, Ace Run Production, $5. Thank you. So another informative episode. Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Ace Run Productions. That'll maybe pay for a Torchy's Taco this week.
Hey.
Next week. Let's see, what are we doing? Oh, okay, so we're going to keep this rolling. I'm going to turn off the audio just for a second. No, I'm not going to do anything because I know.
No, just leave it.
We had some people. What was cool is we had some people do a tour, and they said that they actually. They're like, we're thankful you did a 2-hour episode with the podcast because we listened to it on our drive up here. So that was really cool.
Nice.
All right, so what am I doing? All right, we're going to end it with the audio. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Hang on. For your audio listeners, you'll get the after show the next day. For you YouTubers, just hang on tight. We'll be with you.
We will be with you right now.
All right, we are back. Actually, let me stop this again. There, and I'll hit record here again. Not yet. Are we going to relax or go take a break? Or
no,
no, everybody's
going.
good?
Let's go.
Everybody good?
Let's do this.
Welcome. Oh, it's on the wrong mic.
Which mic are you?
I am mic 3. Put it on 11.
Hello?
It's on Eric's mic, too. There
hey.
I like that one, too. Ready? Turn Eric's mic down. Yeah. There now. Eric is normal. Turn mine all the way up. Here we go. Welcome to the after show. Okay, it's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Input. All right, welcome to the after show where we sit back, we relax a little bit.
I got to lean back here.
Oh, he leans back in his chair, and we do a little YouTube. We get for our YouTube listeners or watchers that hung in there. We answer your questions, and then we talk a little bit about some other stuff. And for this one, we're actually going to talk a little bit about our disc golf or our skip ace picks for LEDGSTONE.
Yes,
we got to talk about that. We're going to talk about a YouTube poll and Facebook group poll that I made, considering the 12 retired molds. And then we're going to...
You should pronounce that word more...
Which one?
Correctly.
Which one?
You said the word retired.
What did I say? Retired?
Uh-huh.
Retired. Because I'm tired.
No, that's fine. It's just I don't want people to...
Yes, I gotcha. And we're actually going to, together, we're going to work on another YouTube poll where we talked about on the official Disc Golf Answerman show, OB lines. We're gonna create this poll together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also appreciate not talking about Kansas City Wide Open on the audio.
Oh, that's right. We didn't. Well, we were running long. It was like in an hour.
Hey, I'm good with it.
Now we're talking
garbage.
About all right, first let's talk about let's do our skip ace real quick.
Let's.
And do we have any questions though coming in? We'll get some questions in from YouTube as we're discussing them.
If someone gets caught cheating, you should throw out all scores for the event because they very likely have been cheating all along. Rare someone gets caught on the first time. No trust. I agree. Well done, Chris. When moving up a disc for the purpose of gaining distance, would it be better to move up in speed or go more stable? In general, moving up in speed is going to help you out a little bit more on that street lamp, unless, let's say you're throwing an escape for all of your max distance stuff and you switch to an enforcer. You're not going to get quite as much distance as you want just because the disc is faster. You need to take into account the speed and stability.
Beginner golfer here. All my drives tend to go up and left. Where in my form am I missing it? The discs are a little understable and vary in speed.
Where in my form am I missing it? Probably swooping on your pull through, which kind of makes your disc go up a little bit higher. When you're trying to throw nose down, you want to finish a little bit higher, but that requires you to pull through flat in order to do that. You can't have a little kind of dip in the middle of it.
So my disc golf partner cousin is super demoralized, and it has caused him to not enjoy playing disc golf.
No.
What would you recommend to help him get back to enjoying the game? Is he demoralized about disc golf itself? Like, does he play bad and he doesn't like that, or is there something else going on in his life?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know.
That's a tough one. I mean, if
he doesn't want to play, he doesn't want to play, kind of thing.
Right. But if there's something else going on in his life and he's just not wanting to get out, then,
right.
I mean, just like anything, you want to make sure they communicate and they talk about it. You definitely don't want them to bottle it up. Yeah.
Russell, what can I replace my Renegade with if I run out of them? I would throw the Renegade until you run out, and I bet we'll still have some available at that time. Yeah. But if not, you could work in a nice Bio Trespass. I think that's a great replacement.
Or a Renegade.
All right, so Skip Ace, LEDGSTONE, 229 players. A lot of the top names are there. Pretty much all the usual suspects are out there. What do we want to pick for our fantasy disc golf?
Is there any unusual suspects that are out there?
That's a fair question.
Sometimes Trevor. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to pick on anybody. Yeah. So what do we want to do for our picks? Do you remember who won that LEDGSTONE last year?
Nate Sexton.
Nate Sexton,
Chris Dickerson. Those guys were up there at the top last year.
All right.
Where was Simon last year? Because I know he won the previous year. Do you remember?
I don't remember
how he finished last year. Didn't he win 2017?
I don't remember. That sounds right. Yeah, but I don't remember for sure.
All right. So what do you guys think? We're gonna put Paul McBeth in there.
At this point, he's playing like he's just unbeatable.
Yeah, you can't not put
truly.
him in there.
And not that there weren't at the tournament this weekend. There weren't a lot of the top guys. Eagle, Ricky Wysocki, Calvin, Simon. Those type guys weren't there. But like Chris Clemens is a very good player. Yeah. And I think he lost by 8 or something this weekend.
He got third, right? Or
he got third. Cam Messerschmidt got second. Yeah. McBeth just played. Just pretty much flawless golf. He was one putt away from shooting 1100 at Waterworks. He ran about a 50-footer with OB behind just because he could. It rolled out of bounds, and he took a 4 on the hole instead of taking a 2. If he takes a 2
was
there,
that on hole 13?
Is that the downhill one? 14 is the downhill one.
Yeah. 14. That's what I meant.
Yeah. He took a 4 there. If he takes a 2, he shoots 1100 on the number, and he still won on the day by 3. So he's just the dude's freaking good. His throwing accuracy is incredible.
And that's what you need at LEDGSTONE.
You really need that. Now, for our picks, it may not be the best pick because, we have to get some more players in there than just. If you pick the winner, cool, but that doesn't do much for you if you don't pick other good players.
By the way, we are under a tornado watch
right now
until 10 p.m. tonight.
Oh, sweet! Look how windy it is outside. Oh, it's not at all.
That's
that's how a tornado.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's funny.
That's tornado weather. So Paul McBeth. Put him in there, yes. Pick number 1.
I don't think so because.
I thought we just said he's been winning everything.
No, I think
that part of your
narrative? You were on your phone when he was explaining.
It's likely that he will win. But
I've got a basement.
But that's just a big chunk of our points.
You're a chunk of our points.
That's fair.
All right, so who do we want to pick?
I want AJ Risley. He got 6 last year. He was leading after 2 rounds.
He was leading,
and he played well at.
Played pretty well at Kansas City. Had a little struggle here and there, but threw some really, really, really good shots. So I like him there.
Dickerson, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna take Dickerson.
Needs to be in there.
Yep, I agree. Dickerson and AJ, put
percentage
those
is
both guys.
ridiculous.
Dickerson, Chris Dickerson.
Yep.
All right. Should we go over to the females so we can use up our points? Paige Pierce, Paige Bjerkes. Paige Pierce, Katrina.
I think Paige and Kat will probably go 1 and 2.
I think it's Paige and Kat.
Yep. That leaves us 2,003 points. So we either need to go.
Who's our alternate for women?
Oh, I like Paige Bjerkes there.
All right.
Well, we're probably not going to need the alternate, right? That's only if.
Oh wait, maybe I should put the alternate late because that takes a lot of our points.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't affect your points.
It just did.
It doesn't affect your points.
It did not affect my points. I was looking at it incorrectly. 2,003 points.
Gosh, I don't know.
We have how much?
2003.
Oh boy.
So we can pick a top 1,000 rated guy and then a low 9 or 2 in the middle.
2,000 rated dudes.
Yeah. There's this guy, Robert McCall.
Matt Bell's been playing some really good golf.
He has. I think he's still a little too expensive for this.
Okay.
For what we want for this. Because the people that play well out here are the best throwers for the most part. And Matt is an incredible putter. He's been putting outside his mind lately. I like Thomas Gilbert. Thomas has been playing really well. I think he could go and put on a show out there. But he loves the long distance stuff. He can throw accurately as well.
Are they just at Eureka or are they playing Northwoods too? Because I saw Paul make a post about Northwoods, some hole at Northwoods being the best hole in disc golf or something.
I think he's just practicing for Worlds out there.
What hole is that?
12? I don't know.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
Okay. I've been to Northwoods. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think he said hole 12. So, yeah, I like, I don't know. I can go for whatever, man. I don't know what my situation is going to be like by the time the week starts because of my toe.
What'd you do to your toe?
I probably didn't break it, but on my way down my stairs, my left foot slipped and I
took a tumble.
Yeah, well, I didn't fall. All of my weight landed on my right big toe, and it's quite bruised and painful to walk on right now. So
is there a chance you're not going to play LEDGSTONE?
I intend to play
regardless.
Yes. I'm hopeful that I can play to 100% capacity.
Just throw all forehands if that's the case. I mean,
I've got a well-documented, very good forehand.
Good luck getting over hole 1 with the forehand.
Right. In all seriousness, I feel like if my toe feels like it does right this second, I'll probably try and find as many forehands as I can.
Yeah.
And just only throw backhands when I have to.
Would Emerson Keith play well at this course?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he would.
He's a good player.
If we put that leaves us 982 left.
Who are 982 rated and below players? Rick Steeler. Ooh, I've got it. Put Emerson in there.
Okay. And Rick Steeler?
Nope. Oh. Kyle Opfer. Kyle is the one of the guys I tied with at King of the Canyons.
Oh, then I guess he's good.
Oh, whoa, look at me. No, he's just a really super solid player. Really, really good up-and-comer.
Who's the alternate? Rick Steeler?
Yeah.
Here we go. Katrina Allen, Paige Pierce for the FPO. Alternate Paige Bjerkes. MPOs, AJ Risley, Chris Dickerson, Emerson Keith, Kyle Opfer, and Rich Steeler as our alternate.
Nice. Sweet.
Good? Save picks? We are done.
On the chat, I'm just under where we left off.
Yeah, go for it.
Is it a bad idea
your underwear?
Just underwear. We used to get one of my teachers to say that all the time, and she was very.
It's under there. Under.
Is it a bad idea to have totally different bag setups for different types of courses?
No, I mean it depends on how different your courses are.
Right.
I mean, I'll change up my bag from.
Sorry.
You're trying to beat me out because I'm already trying to bomb here. I'll change my bag out from playing like for instance, trying to think of 2 tournaments that would come to mind. Like if I was playing Maple Hill and USDGC, I would have 2 completely different bag setups. So yeah, I wouldn't go to like too extreme, like from you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Like a bunch of like super overstable discs, and then all of a sudden I'm taking all of those out and putting in all understable stuff. Like to a degree, and you're still going to have some of the same like mids and whatnot, fairways maybe. But yeah, absolutely, you can tweak your bag a little bit from event to event.
Right.
Yeah.
Brandon says, I like throwing my nuke, but switching more to trilogy discs. Is Raider that disc? If not, what would be the trilogy equivalent?
Raider is always the answer.
Yes. You should try Raider regardless of if you like the nuke or not. But I think something that's high speed and a little bit understable would be something more like the Sheriff. That's what I would try out.
I would also give Trespass a try because that.
Yeah.
So it was the nuke, because I used to throw the nuke a couple times, but I didn't throw it that great. But I had a couple good throws.
Did you throw the nuke or the nuke SS?
I could have swore it was a nuke. I may have had a nuke SS as well, because I think I got excited when it was the super straight. But the Raider would be more overstable than the nuke.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember it that well.
Andreas Nelson, I have a 330-foot forehand looking for a max distance driver. Does it make sense to get something like a Freedom or other high-speed understable stuff, or is it just too fast?
Not a Freedom.
For forehand, probably not.
Depends on your forehand, honestly.
Yeah.
Like for me, the Trespass is an amazing forehand. Trespass and Raider, that combination. I've been throwing some nasty forehands with the Raider, and I don't know. That's just what I'm going to recommend from now on for people to throw for forehands as a Raider, because that thing is just sick.
I love it.
I saw
as
Anthony throw a pretty nasty one on hole 1.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. Sick.
Raider forehand. Yeah.
Bobby says, Robert, how much do you like commentating?
I didn't say that.
He goes to
Why are you putting words in my mouth?
pay me a compliment. Thank you very much. I like commentating a lot. Anytime I get the chance to do it, I very much enjoy it. Yeah, getting to work with Jomez the last couple of events has been awesome.
He commentates all the time. When he's walking through the halls, he's like, and here I am walking through the hallways. Is this as if I have no clue what's going on, yet I turn left into the door with the swiftness of a cat.
McCall puts his right foot in front of his left.
Stubs his toe.
Followed by his right just
Stubs
again.
his toe.
Ooh, that one slid out, and he might not walk again. Thanks for the compliment, Bobby. I very much enjoy doing commentary.
Again, I have not said any of this.
It's one of my favorite things to do, for sure.
Just kidding. It's a guy on the chat. Someone said, a buddy of mine and I were having a conversation a few weeks ago, and I love Trilogy, and he said, until he is sponsored, he will not be brand loyal.
Me neither. That's not true.
What does Dwight say?
Yeah. Blood alone
Blood
alone moves the wheels of history.
Okay. All right. So what do we think about that? You know what I say? You do you, and I'll do me. You do what you want. If you've watched our instructional videos, if you've laughed at any of our Willett Heiser videos, if you've talked to any of our sponsored players, and you were impressed by Dynamic Discs, please buy our discs. If you feel connection with us, buy our discs. If you don't feel any connection, if you don't really care, if you don't whatever, then don't buy our discs. Hopefully we do enough to where you want to have one or two of our discs, and then eventually 3 or 4, then you buy a bag, and then maybe all of our stuff in your bag. If that's what you choose to do, then I've done my job. If you only have 1 or 2, I've done my job. I just love that people like our stuff. But if you're like, unless I'm sponsored, I'm not going to throw one brand. Okay.
All right. Cool.
As long as you're throwing an EMAC Truth, who cares?
Hey, yo. Cool.
All right, off my soapbox.
What else you got?
Oh, wait. All right, let's see what we're going to talk about next. We have, so let's talk about the YouTube poll that I did.
Ooh,
all right. So
hold on. Chaser, who submitted
a
a couple of questions, said Disc Golf Answer Man versus Jomez. I think he means in disc golf.
Okay.
That was his question.
One time we played where we had Glassbone Open maybe 3 years ago. We had a bunch of the media. We had Disc Golf Answer Man, Central Coast, Ian's guys, some of Jomez's guys out there, and Disc Golf guy, Smashbox guys out there. We actually did a video of it. It's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever do it again.
Yeah.
I don't like those people.
Disc Golf Answer Man would kind of have an unfair advantage in that we have a world champion on our team. That would be an advantage.
Who's that?
Bobby. Yes. World champion.
I'm a champion in your hearts.
World champion commentator of me walking down the hall.
But to be fair, if you're saying that, Jomez could have Big Sexy on the team.
Yeah,
and
then we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny V asks who won that.
I don't remember, Johnny.
I assume he's asking because Smashbox won.
We weren't
too long ago.
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I wasn't there either.
You had something I can't remember.
I thought I wasn't invited.
No, you were invited.
Because they were scared to have me there.
Maybe that's what it was like. We couldn't have any pros.
So I was offended and said, I'm not even going to show up.
I am offended. Stan Tall Studio says, I'll throw all DD if they wrap my RV. That's all we got to do.
That's all we got to do. Wrap everybody's vehicles.
Come on. It's easy.
Come on, man.
Come on.
All right, so about 5 days ago, when we announced the retirement of the 12 molds. So if you are not sure what's going on, out of our 34 molds at Dynamic Discs.
Oh.
Is it possible for me to put some ice on my toe?
Look at this.
Anybody?
Watch.
All right, we should be back here in a second. So internet is speaking out against the retired molds. Yeah. So I think we're back live. We're back. All right. So what we were talking about, I'm not sure when we got pushed out, but we were talking about the 12 retired molds, and they make up 10% of our sales. So we want to concentrate on the higher volume of sales discs.
And it's not like these discs.
I think you can go all day long.
All right. So it'll come back here in a second, hopefully. Oh, so. The question on Facebook, a lot of people were debating why these only made up 10% of the sales. So
because you didn't buy them.
A large portion of these discs that went retired are understable discs, or what might be thought of as good discs for the beginner. So I put a poll on here that says, why do you think these beginner-friendly discs do not sell as much? And you had 4 choices. 1, not enough marketing for them. 2, too much overlap from other discs. 3, too much emphasis put on what pros throw. And 4, not understanding discs and proper form to throw them. 62% people said too much emphasis is put on what the pros throw.
Are we up, by the way?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's some people said the marketing is wrong. Stop calling them beginner discs. Call them understable and show what they do well. Innova doesn't make the Mako a beginner disc. This is from those 2 comedy guys. That's a funny joke, those 2 comedy guys, because we don't market them. We call them beginner discs, but I don't know that. I mean, I guess there's some merit to that as far as someone might think, well, I'm not a beginner. I've been playing for a little bit, so I don't need those. But we don't call the Renegade a beginner disc, yet it falls under those discs that is considered more for a slower arm.
Mm-hmm. Or suspect.
Correct. Simon Lazat can throw 500 feet of putter 500 feet without turning it over. It's a complex subject and not as simple as picking one of these answers. So why do you think it is? Why do you think people think we put too much emphasis on what the pros throw, and that's why people buy discs that really isn't?
That's not.
They're ready for it. Or
the thing is that I don't think that's just us. I think that's disc golf.
Oh
companies.
yeah, absolutely.
It's the same. It's the same thing as like. I mean, name your sport. Why do people
golf?
Why do people use the same golf clubs that Rory McIlroy uses? Why do people?
Bad example.
Fair enough. Why do people
bowling?
Same bowling balls or same. Why do people use the same shoes as Kevin Durant or Kobe Bryant back in the day or whatever? Because they want to use what the pros use. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's the answer to the question. I mean, it's like that in every single sport. So whether even if we emphasize, the Renegade or the Freedom or whatever, if some of the pros don't throw it, it's not going to gain as much traction as ones that they do.
Right. We at one time we decided to do that, and that's the thing is that at one time we decided to do Average Joe in the bags, and we started with Derek Saver when we did one, and then we had some others lined up to do, and then some other projects came up, and we looked at the view count of the Derek's in the bag, and it wasn't like it was terrible, but
it was 4.
It was we were hoping for 5. No, the thing is that people they have it in their head that they want to watch what the big pros throw.
Yeah.
And then that's what they get in their head. Someone mentioned on Facebook, on the poll, I met a guy on the course, he could throw about 200 feet, mostly into the sky. Lots of fast drivers. He told me he only buys max weight because of an in the bag he watched. And that's the thing is people want to watch. Look at the numbers. People want to watch the Paul Macbeth in the bags. They want to watch the Eric Oakleys and the big name in the bags because they want to see what they throw, and it gives them ideas. I know a lot of you say, I want a Bobby in the bag. I want an Anthony in the bag because I want to see what the average guy throws. But And we're going to do it because I want to. Now I do. This has kind of given me some ideas of experimenting to do to see what would happen if we marketed these a little bit different. But the thing is, people still, even if I did it in the bag or if Anthony did one, they're going to want to watch an in the bag from Emerson Keith over either of us, just because they're the ones that are out there. They're the ones that people see. They're the ones they see that, whoa, look what he can do with a disc. I want to do the same thing. What disc is that?
Right.
And they'll say, well,
content.
Yeah. So it is kind of a tricky situation. What are some people saying on YouTube?
I mean, just agreeing that's all sports is what Brent Stevens says. Everyone wants to be like Mike. Tim says my last 2 DD discs is what Eric Oakley is using. Johnny V earlier said, is it a similar problem to why FPO tour discs don't usually sell as well?
I can imagine there's an aspect of it. And that's another thing that's maybe a little controversial to say, but you know, we get a lot of people that want FBO coverage because, or a lot of people mention FBO coverage. They say, I like to watch the FBO coverage because they throw more like what I throw as an average thrower. I can't throw like Paul Macbeth. But when you look at the view counts, actually more people watch the MPO.
Well, that's in anything, though. I mean, more
right,
people watch the U.S. Open PGA versus the LPGA.
Someone brought that up point with NBA versus WNBA. I mean, they get the difference between view counts and the WNBA and NBA is
it's astronomical.
Yeah,
it's like 3 people.
Yeah. Now, so I think there's that side, like knowing that in general, there are more, and this isn't an opinion. There are more views on the men's side of disc golf videos than there are on the women's side. But then Johnny V said, I think another company once said they didn't want to hurt or put FPO names on a disc because it actually hurt sales.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I guess I understand where you're coming from, but I mean, look at some of our discs with Paige Pierce's name on them. They've done well. You know, the Deputy is a fantastic seller. The
Defenders.
I mean, the Convict we didn't sell very many of before we put Paige Pierce's name on.
We sold more since we put her name on.
Of course,
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but the Deputy, I think that was the best example right there. It's one of the more popular putters.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, so I just thought it would be interesting to see what some of those people said on the poll, as far as that. Some other comments. And some people were saying that a lot of they're thinking the reason why these are the 10% is a lot of people will throw them and then they get into it and then they eventually grow out of those discs.
Yeah.
So they move on to the other discs.
Right. And I think, something that we're missing out on, and this is the difference between out of production and retired, is out of production has the connotation that the disc is just gone. Like so the Fugitive is out of production. We don't plan for the Fugitive to ever be made again, unless somebody gets a wild hair and says,
or somebody does a
custom
could
run.
somebody do a custom run of a
Yeah,
Fugitive?
I think they could, because the mold is still intact and fine.
Yeah.
If they wanted to do that, that's fine. But it's very, very, very likely that we won't make a run of the Fugitive ever again.
Correct.
But with something like the Slammer, the Suspect, the Renegade, some of the ones that were ones that people thought, hey, that's one of my favorite discs.
The ones that were
seems pretty
shocked.
popular. Yeah, I do think we'll see those again. We're just not going to restock them right now. We still have years on some of the examples. We still have a year or two of inventory just sitting here right now, just waiting to be sold. And so
was that thunder?
That was thunder.
Wow, that was a loud thunder.
I do not want to stay here much longer. Anyway, yeah, I think you'll be surprised by how much those are still available.
Yeah.
There's just a difference between OOP and retired. That's all it is.
All right, so we did the same poll in the Facebook group, and it came out the same thing. We got a majority of votes on, way majority by over 50% of the votes said too much emphasis put on what pros throw, and then of course mixed among the others.
Right.
So,
well, Alan Doty on here says maybe have the touring pros endorse more understable discs. The thing is,
we don't tell them what to promote.
Right. I mean, across the board, there's some things that we say, hey, I assume that you're going to use this. Would you promote this? But if it's not a disc that they're going to use, they're very, they're much less likely to promote something that they're not going to use. You know?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Next topic we're going to talk about is I want to make sure you follow us on Instagram. Tina Oakley will be out at LEDGSTONE doing some behind the scenes type video Instagram story stuff. So make sure you follow us on Dynamic Discs Instagram. All right, so real quick, we're going to create a new poll on Facebook, YouTube, Fayupatu. The question will be, what type of OB markings? Lines?
How should OB be marked?
How do you prefer
OB lines marked?
OB to be marked? Option 1 is painted lines. Painted horses. Oh, that's a thing. That's a cup of horse.
I think so.
Rope. Well, how do you refer to the
Steaks? Medium, rare.
I spelt them like steaks.
That's actually the only way. Thank you.
That's true. Yeah.
Steaks and a string, right? That's a thing, right?
I wouldn't do because that's the same thing as rope to me.
Rope.
Because it'll have a stake holding it.
I would just say because in Europe all they do is have those white stakes in the ground, and you kind of have to eyeball it.
So I'm going to put stakes and then in parentheses, but only.
You are 1 meter OB.
Yeah.
That happened to me.
That's
another way to do it.
That's never coming back. What? Stop it.
What?
I like this. Tim suggests OB should be lava. Huh? Throw into the OB, then your disc is gone, and also maybe your leg.
I can't think of any other way.
And or not marked, natural.
Oh yeah, natural, like
all
nothing.
natural.
Like tall grass.
You think?
Yeah.
Natural, and then I would put in parentheses, not marked, just concrete,
eyeball,
water, whatever.
Like Milo.
Not marked. Milo doesn't really have OB.
So 4 choices: painted lines, rope, stakes.
Say that again.
Natural, not marked.
The natural OB is like, oh, you throw it in the trees and you can't get back out.
That's not OB though. That's not what we're.
But that's what people are gonna think. They're like, I don't
True.
want to see an OB.
True.
Playing on golf courses.
Some people might think that.
So I'm gonna have to.
Maybe
I'm
on
gonna have to put in the question.
In parentheses, put water's edge, parking
Water's
lot.
edge,
So
tall
example.
grass.
Okay, I'll put not marked.
Or just put no marking.
I like paint with Kyle New in the comments says paint with flags. Just paint is its own option. I like paint with flags as a separate option. That's actually my favorite.
Hold on.
Because it stays out of the way.
I think that's mandatory in my personal opinion.
There's plenty of
if you're painting an OB line, it should be
flag
flagged
it.
so you can visually see it too.
Yeah.
So the choice should be painted lines with flags.
Yeah.
Okay, so I painted painted lines with flags.
This is important.
Rope, stakes,
go ahead.
Natural, for example, water line, parking lot edge.
Okay, very good.
Okay, what if we took the stakes and rather than having them on the ground, we like hung them down from the trees?
Okay, what was your point, Robert?
Okay, so James in the chat says, going to Torchies for the first time this week, what do I get?
Oh my God!
See,
Hold on.
thank you.
Let me hit submit on this.
Can we just get back to what's important here? Okay, James, do you like seafood? Answer in the comments. Do you like seafood?
Why won't it let me?
If you do,
Post
then you need to get the Mr. Orange. It's a salmon taco that has salmon, black bean salsa, with some corn in there, a little bit of cilantro, queso fresco, and a kind of like a spicy-ish avocado sauce, and it's fantastic. One of my favorite tacos that has ever been invented. And then second taco, you can just kind of do your choice. You can go chicken fajita, that's very good. Steak fajita is very good. If you're trying to get like a classic Torchies experience, the Trailer Park Trashy is a good choice. Trailer Park is a chicken strip. Usually they put lettuce and cheese on there, but if you get it Trashy, they replace the lettuce with queso. So that's one to check out. Yeah, there's lots of good ones. And then you have to get chips and queso. It is mandatory. You got to do it. There it is. Okay.
So what else you got over there?
I'm hitting post. Boom. All right, posted. That's really about it that I have for topics to talk about.
I meant what did you end up going with on there is what I
like this from Johnny V. Literal stakes for OB markers. Filet, T-bone,
painted
ribeye.
lines with flags, rope, stakes only, natural, for example, water line or parking lot edge. So that poll is out there on YouTube. So go out to our YouTube channel and go to the community and put your vote in. We would discuss it next week's after show.
P Life says always when I'm trying to throw max distance.
Distance. You want to throw a max?
I want to throw a max distance. My disc goes almost vertical at the end of reach back. On release, it goes flat and straight. Why does it happen, and is it a bad thing to do? I don't know why it happens, but is it a bad thing to do? It sounds like probably what you're doing is reaching down maybe a little bit too low on a hyzer angle, and so when you come up to flat, I think you're doing a lot of extra work to get to a flat release, whereas instead you could just pull back flat and release flat. It's easier said than done, but I think that's part of it. Is the chicken strip fried or grilled? Fried. Great question.
And which one?
In the trailer park.
Yes, fried. All right, I think that's it. We have any questions in the YouTube that we need to hurry up and answer?
I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it or not. Mike says, what do you think about Christian chaplains at the larger tournaments?
What do I mean, I don't understand.
I didn't know that this was a thing.
What's that?
He said, what do you think about Christian chaplains at the larger tournaments?
I mean, we allow, but we have...
we create a space for Eagles
Wings. None of the
Wings.
events are actually, it's like they're not hosting it. It's
Right.
Eagle Wings coming in and hosting it.
Mm-hmm. We just say that here's a space that you can use for it.
Yeah.
And if people want to attend, they can. I don't think it's bad. I certainly don't think it should be something, mandated on anybody. But if they want to come and do that, then they can do that.
Yeah.
I want to know Mike's angle, because it's a rather interesting. It's a rather
it's an interesting question.
I don't want to say loaded question, but I can't think of words. It's a question that, in other words, if a person asks, I'm not saying you're doing this, Mike. I'm not saying you're doing this, but it sounds like a question that it will cause controversy.
That he's against it.
Yeah,
is what you're
either he's
maybe
against
like a
it,
leading, or he's for it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
like a leading question or something. I don't know.
No, there's another word.
Okay.
Like it's
diabolical plan.
Like it has, like he wants it to cause controversy. He wants to explode. I can't remember.
A pointed question.
Pointed? No, I can't think of it. Anyway, I'm just curious what your angle with it is, Mike.
Yeah. I need to address something. Jerome in the chat says, when is AJ coming back? Heard he was gone for the rest of this year. Okay, Jerome.
What?
So while we were doing the commentary, AJ, before this tournament, got a high and tight haircut and just had a mustache. And so he looked like he was either going to go to the police academy or ship out to the Marines, right? And so at the beginning of the commentary on round one, we were like, "Hey, you know what?" AJ was like, "Yeah, this is my last tournament. Going to the police academy after this," as a joke. And then said something about the Marines later on, because he had the high and tight haircut. And not a joke, there's probably 15 comments across all three videos that said, man, really going to miss AJ for the rest of the year. Where is he going to be deployed?
Do you know who he looked like?
Who?
Charlie Bailey Gates.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Charlie? Do you know who Charlie Bailey Gates is? Jim Carrey's character in Me, Myself, and Irene.
Okay, yes.
Looked just like
yes,
him.
I
the high fade with the mustache.
The high and tight. Yeah. So just to clarify, AJ is not going to either the Marines. Neither the Marines nor the police academy. It was just a joke based on the haircut that he chose. So there you go.
I can't find the word I'm looking for.
Provocative?
Maybe that's what it is.
Antagonistic?
Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
All right. So, Mike, say anything?
Well, Daniel said, was Bobby drinking at lunch today?
No, why?
I don't know. Maybe that's just what he asked.
Do I look like I've been drinking?
Johnny V said, I will miss AJ. Shut up, Johnny V. You're not helping. Andreas Nelson said, do you know of any Christians on tour? I know some people who are Christians on tour. I'm a Christian as well, but I don't think that it's something that a lot of people either advertise or are judged for. It's just, part of who they are, what they do. So, yeah.
All right. I am one of those two.
Yes.
I don't tour.
He said, Mike says I'm totally for it.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean.
Great. Mike, I wanted to be controversial, provocative.
It's one of those things that if they want to do, they're welcome to do it. But I don't see it being something that we should enforce. That's what I think.
Could we see a casual round between all the pros that want the Raider as their series disc? That's a lot of potential money on the line.
It's a good.
Would we even have a Lucid X Raider?
Probably not right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have the need for it. It's really, really good as is.
All right, we got to go. All right, thank you guys so much. We appreciate it for joining us after show. A little bit laid back. I got my mind on my money, on my mind. A little bit laid back format. Make sure you go to skipace.com, join the Disc Golf Answer Man League, and get your picks in there so we can pick a winner. If you pick better than us, then we will draw from those group, usually a large pool of people.
We usually do really awesome.
That do better than us.
Unless I'm here. You guys suck when I'm gone.
And you'll be able to
fair.
You'll be able to take a chance to win some goodies.
Free AJ. Get out of here, Johnny B.
So thank you guys. Have a wonderful week. Make
really
sure
sad
you.
the Smashbox is quitting too.
Yeah, they're
That's
shipping
what I
off to
heard.
the
Yeah,
Marines.
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
It's so sad.
Terry would make it in the Marines. Yeah, right. Whatever.
Gosh.
He's joining the
Hateful.
Navy, I heard.
The Navy, yeah. I remember one time I just got out of the Marine Corps and someone said, "Oh, did you know that the Marines is a department of the Navy?" And I said, "Yeah, the men's department."
Oh.
Ew.
None of the views here
Yeah.
expressed.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.